Hey Premier Planet, Justin Barlow coming at you from inside the Premier Studio in Woodstock, Illinois, where we just wrapped up our 143rd studio taping. As always, a big thank you to everyone who came out this last Saturday to support us here at 1230 Davis Road in Woodstock. If you weren't here, let me fill you in on all the exciting action you missed. We started off the evening, it was 0-1 taking on Slammin Skip McKenzie, whose stock has continued to rise here in PPW. And Slammin Skip able to put the martial arts expert away with a sunset flip over the top rope. 1, 2, 3. Slammin Skip walks away with a victory at PPW 143. Following that, it was non-title action. The big 280-pound Texan, the corn-fed Colossus Michael Mack, taking on the current PPW World Heavyweight Champion, the hunk with the tree trunks, Chase Gosling. Now, in this one, Chase, well, he's been enjoying not having to defend his title in recent weeks due to there being no legitimate #1 contender, which we'll touch on a little bit later. But a very daunting task ahead of him. If you remember, last week at PPW 142, the Dirty Boys Club stuck their nose in Michael Mack's business, and this match was made so that Michael Mack could get a measure of revenge. And during this one, Chase Gosling, he pulled out all the stops. He was able to get Michael Mack up in that Saturday Night Special submission, but due to Mack's size, he wasn't able to hold it, and Chase Gosling, well, apparently resorting to his last resort, is able to get Michael Mack into a pinning predicament, puts his feet on the ropes, and is able to put the big Texan away. 1, 2, 3, and Chase Gosling leaves with his head and belt held high. Following that, it was Ronnie Metro taking on a standout from the Premier Academy, Ranger Ray. Now, Ronnie Metro came into this matchup, he thought he was just going to have the easiest night with the rookie, but Ranger Ray so many times gave Ronnie a run for his money, and there were so many times we thought that Ranger Ray might actually pull it off, but Ronnie Metro gets up on the top rope, delivers a huge splash right across Ray's chest. 1, 2, 3, and the Dirty Boys Club are now 2-0 in their matchups at PPW 143. Following that, grudge match. Irish Andy Anderson takes on the world exclusive Matt Vine. These two absolutely no strangers to each other. They've had a feud going on here in PPW that's carried over the better part of a couple of years now. So these two, a lot to prove in this one, not just personally, but if you remember, at PPW 142, Matt Vine won his #1 contendership round-robin tournament matchup, so he walked into this match with his head held high, hoping to keep the momentum rolling. But during this match, unfortunately, Andy Anderson, well, he got slung into the corner, knocks out the referee, another ref comes into the ring to take over, he gets knocked out, and that's when Andy reaches into his trunks and pulls out some sort of foreign object. We don't know what it was, if it was brass knuckles or some sort of small pipe or what, but he goes at Vine. Vine's able to get the knucks or whatever the object was away from Andy, uses them on Andy, and as he pins Andy and the second referee is regaining consciousness to count the pinfall, the first referee pulls the second referee out of the ring and says no, that he saw Matt Vine use that foreign object on Andy, calls for the bell, and declares Andy Anderson the winner via disqualification, which means the Dirty Boys Club at this point 3-0 wins and losses at PPW 143. Following that, round-robin #1 contendership tournament matchup. And a very, very exciting one it was. It was ya boys, the human video game Scott Colton and the returning Iniestra going one-on-one. These two know each other like brothers, so they were forced to get creative and think outside the box in an effort to put the other one down. And it was after a Michinoku driver and sorry, I lost my train of thought there. A running shooting star press from Scott Colton that picked up the victory for the human video game. After the match, Colton extends his hand to Iniestra. Iniestra shoves Colton out of the way, visibly distraught, visibly frustrated. But Scott Colton, not willing to let Iniestra's frustration drive a wedge between them, he extends his hand again, Iniestra accepts, and both of them walk out of the Premier Studio, this time with Colton as the victor. Following that, Hammond Eggert, over the last few weeks, he's been, well, a bit of a pledge to the Dirty Boys Club. The Dirty Boys Club trying to bring him into the fold, trying to get him to prove himself. He took on Jamie from the block. Of course, the Dirty Boys Club, they weren't just going to let Hammond go out there alone. They came out with him. This match broke down. The Dirty Boys decided that they were just going to take matters into their own hands, got into the ring, started putting the boots to Jamie from the block, but that's when Scott Colton and Iniestra came down to ringside. At this point, the match had been thrown out, but Premier CEO Randy Ritchie comes down and says, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have ourselves a 6-man tag team match. No place for the Dirty Boys to run and hide, and as much as the Dirty Boys tried, well, you know what? Instead of hearing me talk about it, why don't you see for yourself? Big time win for Jamie from the block, Iniestra, and Scott Colton. But this rivalry between these guys is far from over. And in fact, next week, Scott Colton is going to go one-on-one with Ronnie Metro. Also, this coming Saturday night in non-title action, the PPW World Heavyweight Champion, the hunk with the tree trunks, faces off against former two-time PPW World Heavyweight Champion, the Persian powerhouse, Malad Akbar. And in #1 contendership round-robin tournament action, it is going to be the world-exclusive Matt Vine taking on Woodstock's favorite son, Iniestra. Once again, Premier Planet, a big thank you for all of your continued support over the years. Keep spreading the word about us. Keep sharing our posts on Facebook, retweeting our tweets on Twitter. Again, we're all over social media. You can find us everywhere. And we will see you folks out here at 1230 Davis Road this Saturday night for PPW 144.